Welcome back, folks. My name is LastKnownMeal, and today in Cyberpunk 2077 we're going to talk about features in the game that were cut and also later that were added. Because we did have Miles Tost, who is the senior level designer currently working at CDPR on Cyberpunk 2077, open up about all of those things that have been going on, and where he is actually talking with the community about those features and why those things happen the way they do, because that is the process of making games, of making a product. Some things are going to be cut, some things are going to be added. That's a very normal thing which has been happening in every single game you have been playing. So we're gonna go through everything that Miles said, and hopefully we can learn something new. So this is what he says about features and everything regarding those questions, like why is this removed, what is going on, and this is what he says. We never had dual wielding, and I have said my words on techie so often. Not sure what else to say about it other than if you are unsure, please wait for reviews. Check whoever you trust after it launches and get their input. Not every game is for everyone. We don't have the power to change that. No one is forcing you to buy the game day one, and no one at CDPR wants you to be disappointed with a game you might not enjoy. Having said that, on the topic of cut features, cutting features and scope is a very normal part of development. You can witness it so openly with our game because we happily gave it to the community wishes and showed you that 2018 demo. Think about it. The game 2 years from release. Of course we iterate and change stuff, and of course we also will have ideas that sound great on paper but then doesn't end up working out well in the game with all the other features. In The Witcher 3 we also cut a ton of stuff, but in the end all of it made the game better. Now I understand. This is disappointing for everyone when it happens, and also difficult to understand without all the context of development environment. But in this case I just kindly ask for your trust. Just look at the stories of so many other games you might enjoy. Believe me when I say that during their development some loved features also were cut, and you still enjoy them today, maybe even because of the cuts. In the end, it is all about how much fun the game and its systems provide you, and we are doing our best to make sure it is great of an experience as it can be. Sometimes for that you have to make some hard decisions, and this time around you were here to witness it. Overall, I think this was a very important thing to say, because over the past couple of weeks and months, whenever we got actually the new gameplay, there were a lot of people expecting miracles from this game. And when a game has the hype of this scale as Cyberpunk has, of course people are saying like, why is the game hyped up so much? It has to be something special. I mean, in reality this game is shaping up to be something really special, but you cannot expect every feature that exists in the world to be included in a game. There are so many things that you have to think about when you're actually planning the features you're putting inside of your game. There is the budget, there is the time, how much people do you have, what is the overall knowledge of your people working there, can you achieve it, how is it going to work for the game. Then, you know, a simple thing that people think is simple, like why don't we have flying cars? Flying cars is not basically just taking an AV and putting it inside of the game and making it fly just out of himself, you know. That has to be programmed, that has to work with collisions around everything. Then you have to think, okay, if we do have an AV in the game, how is that going to change the pacing of the game? How is that going to change the overall feel of the game? Is it going to make the game too easy? Is it going to make the game boring? Is this what we want from our games? Do we have any use from having an AV flying around Night City? You know, there are so many things which go into that, where it's not basically like, okay, we want car customization, alright Steve, go put it in 5 minutes. It doesn't go that way. It has to be polished, it has to be worked on, especially with the amount of detail CDPR is putting into their games and into their features. It takes a lot of time, and then at the end of all of that you have to optimize that and polish it so it works once it gets out. Every single feature, it cannot be just put up just like that in a raw format. your PC would not be able to run this. It would have problems, it wouldn't load properly. So of course, when devs talk about features, of course some of those things are going to be cut. And yes, as they say, like, they actually showed the game 2 years before it came out. Well, at that time, things were different. We didn't know that it's gonna have 2 delays or whatever, but still, they showed us the game very, very early in that initial stages when we had the game, but it wasn't polished, it wasn't optimized, and it still looked decent, it still looked good. But now, when you see how much work has been put into it, when you compare the old gameplay footage and the new gameplay footage, you cannot say it's not improved, because you are blind. It is. I mean, it is absolutely improved on the light, on the textures, on everything. And of course, those things take time, and that's why people have been asking so much about those features, and I believe this was very important. I'm actually very glad Miles decided to put this out, because just people don't know how difficult development and overall production can be of any game, not just Cyberpunk, of every game you played, especially on this scale. Miles also at the end says this: "If you worry about the amount of content on our game, please don't. We are notoriously bad at judging how long game time is in our game. I remember we estimated players would max out V3 at 100 hours. Yeah. So we try not to do that anymore. But I can only keep saying what I have been saying in the past. You guys have seen nothing yet. It's less than a month now. Soon all your questions will be answered, hopefully satisfyingly, and I can't wait for you to play it finally. It's been a long time coming." I'm really happy with this. Honestly, yes, calculating game time is extremely difficult. One of the best things that you can do it in is to, I believe there is a website, How Long to Beat It, where people post their results, and then you find the correct number of like how long does it take, because you have various people with different play styles uploading their game time, and that's also like different. Like, do you want to go through the mission fast? Do you want to go slow? What things do you want to do in the game? How much do you want to explore? What do you want to see? All of those things determine your playtime. So it is difficult for a developer or a person to calculate that, because every single one of us, we have a different play style. We have different pacing, we do things in a different way. Someone just likes to go through mission. Someone likes to take a break, do some exploring, find this, find that. So yeah, it is a bit difficult to calculate, but when you see the scope of the city, and as when they say we haven't seen anything, I completely agree with that, because we haven't. We saw Watson, we saw a bit of that prologue, and that's basically it. We don't have any idea about the overarching story or what is going to be in. And same with The Witcher, like the amount of things they were actually promoting for The Witcher 3 when it was coming out, and when the game came out, it had a lot of things. So you don't have to worry about clothing and all of that. The Witcher 3 had a lot of it. Just imagine a game now where those things matter even more. Of course, you're going to have more than enough of your choices to actually make your character stand out in a way that you do. Of course, there are some limitations, because this game, if they actually added everything that people wanted, this game would come out in 2077. But that cannot happen. Of course, it doesn't mean that some of these features are basically done now. Though it doesn't mean that, because they can always add certain features later on in development, through expansions, through DLCs, through updates, through whatever. So you never know what is the future of this game going to be. Of course, once the game comes out, I will have my own review of the game. I will try to be as objective as I can, covering every single little bit of most important elements, and hopefully that will help you decide if you want to buy the game or not. I don't know when my review is coming out. That depends on various factors that are out of my power, so we'll see how those things are going to play out. Overall, I'm really happy with this explanation Miles posted here, and I think it's very important. And look, we're so close to release. The game is coming out soon, we're all gonna be playing it, and let's hope for the best. Let's hope for a smooth release and a good game in the end. And please, this is not GTA 2077. If you think that this game because it's open world and has vehicles is GTA, then you really need to play more games. Really need to play more games, because a GTA cannot be a blueprint for every other game. It cannot be the only thing people associate every other game with that has open world, has vehicles, and has guns. It doesn't go that way. But again, thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions about this, you can just drop them down below. I will try to answer if I know. Regarding this, tell me also what you think about this post by Miles Tost, and yeah, don't forget to smash that like and subscribe button. Also visit us on our growing community at Twitter and Discord. And I do have a Patreon page. If you were looking for an extra way to support the channel, you can do it through there, and huge thanks to my current Patreon supporters. This is LKM signing out, and stay classy everyone. Bye bye.